Gentlemen, welcome back to the Motive Racing channel for another event of action here tonight. We've just had an absolutely incredible first ever event on F1 2020. Oh, let's just turn the sound off on my PC so we don't hear myself in the background. Yeah, we just come off of a fantastic race over on F1 2020 at Melbourne, Australia, and hoping for more of the same here on our staple, the place where it all started for us, Project Cars 2, in the category where it all started for us actually, Motive Racing's first ever league event back on March the 13th, Friday March the 13th of all days, last year, 2020, started at Brands Hatch in these GT5 Ginettas, the G40 Supercup, and we'd like to say we're returning to these cars for another season here on Project Cars 2, and we've got a packed outfield, lots of guys who are very hungry to prove a point and write their name into Motive Racing history. But we've got Bod currently leading this classification here in qualifying. Ryan Bod, our regular in the Clios, recently raced on Tuesday night in the Clio Cup. He's currently sat on provisional pole position here at Oulton Park, so he's really flying early on in this session. A fantastic lap from Ryan Bod to put it on provisional pole, 3/10 ahead of this man Little Leach, who is currently doing a great job tonight. Little Leach, he's regular racer in our Clios, and brother of Gary as well. I don't know if Gary's been able to jump in the session or not, hopefully he has. But yeah, Little Leach currently P2. Let's see if we can improve here right at the end of this session. He's currently 3/10 off of that pole time. Let's see what he can do here. Driving the number 31, the yellow Ginetta G40. He's coming over the line now. Let's see what he can do. It looks like he goes a little bit quicker, but he can't improve. Stays P2. Can Amazing Pie Boy improve? No, he can't. He stays P5. Craig making his Motive Racing debut. He's going to line up in P6 for this one. Let's see what SAS Ogsy can do. He's just coming up towards the Knickerbock chicane now. He's currently sat in 7th in this session. Fury in 8th. Let's see what Fury can do. We know he's a bit of a track specialist around Oulton Park. Can he continue the form that we've seen him produce over the last few seasons? It looks like he can't. He stays P8 at the moment. Hopefully he'll be able to make some progress in the race. Pro Ballast P9 for him. Keeks just coming up towards what appears to be the Island Bend there. Keeks, Emu guys finished the session. He can't improve. Looks like Lion Fernie out of this one, so it's pretty much all down to SAS Ogsy here. He's coming up towards Lodge Corner for the final time here in this session. Let's see if he can get himself up the order. Currently he's in 7th place in this classification, making his debut here at Motive Racing, driving in the number 54 Ginetta GT5 G40, the blue livery. He's coming up towards the line now. What can SAS Ogsy do? He crosses over, and I think he wasn't able to improve. I believe he stayed P7 there. No, he didn't. He moved up to P5 right at the death. So fantastic job there from SAS Ogsy. It's going to be Bod lining up on pole. The first pole position for Bod, I believe, here at Motive, with Little Leach alongside him, HRT Zeus and Unorthodox lining up on the second row. Stay tuned for the race, guys, in a few moments. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moments away from the start of another season in the Ginetta G40 Supercup here. Our motive. Bod lining up on pole position with Little Leech alongside him, Zeus behind them and Unorthodox, and lights are out and away we go, and that is an unbelievable start there from SAS Oulton. Already up into P3, coming up towards turn 1. He's going to look like he's going to get Bod coming up into turn 1 as well. Little Leech leads the field though, he gets the jump crucially on Bod coming into turn 1. Side by side in the background, Unorthodox and Amazing Pie-Boy looking like they're very close on the track. Oh, and somebody's flipped, somebody's off. It looks like that's Craig there on his roof and down to P13 already in this race. Disaster of a start for him. DJ Phil looked like he didn't get off the line either, but Little Leech leads this field. He got ahead of Bod off the line and he's got the lead coming up towards Island Bend. SAS Oulton there in P2, Unorthodox and Bod side by side here coming up towards Island Bend now. Who's going to back out of this one? Unorthodox around the outside trying to hold it, and it looks like he's a little bit wide and somebody's off in the background. That's HRT Zeus. Is he going to go into the tyre wall? He keeps it out of the tyre wall just about, but this is absolute carnage here on the opening lap. It looks like Pro Ballast has gone off coming up towards Shallow Hairpin. He's down to 11th place. Craig gets ahead of him up into 11th now, but disaster there for those guys. Little Leech leads this one. He gets away scot-free at the front and he's 1.7 seconds in the lead here at the opening half a lap. SAS obviously there sat in P2 at the moment. You've got Bod running in 3rd place just behind SAS at this point. Fury's made a hell of a start to this race, once again showing that he is a absolute maestro on the opening lap of races. He's made incredible progress at the start of this one. Unorthodox losing that place to a couple of guys there down to P5. He's on the back of Fury though. Keeks there P6. We've got Ian running in 7th place at the moment. HRT Zeus dropped to 8th place with that little excursion coming through Island Bend. He was lucky not to end up in the tyre wall, it must be said. Lion Fernie in 9th. We've got Smoky Devil 3 seconds back of these guys. He obviously got involved in that little bit of a bit of argy-bargy on the opening lap, and we've got side by side here in the background. That is Pro Ballast trying to make the move here on Craig coming up towards Druids. Is he going to make the move? He's going to dive up the inside there. Pro Ballast pushes Craig a little bit wide and he's up into the 11th place there. It's Amazing Pie-Boy going to try and capitalise on this. Amazing Pie-Boy, after a promising start to this race, down in P13. It has gone completely pear-shaped for Amazing Pie-Boy at the opening lap of this one, but Little Leech leads this race. He's already pulled out 2.2 seconds, so Little Leech very much making the most of the woes of the guys behind him, and he's currently got clear air out the front of the field. 2.2 as we said. Bod there running in P2. The pole sitter will be looking to try and eat into that gap to Little Leech at this point. SAS Oulton now getting absolutely swamped here out of Cascades towards Island Bend. It looks like he's got Fury on his inside and Unorthodox loses it. It looked like SAS Oulton and Unorthodox had a little bit of a tap coming out of Cascades at the run towards Island Bend, and Unorthodox gets it spun round, but he's down to P8 here in this race. He's going to lose positions to Smoky Devil and possibly Pro Ballast as well. Now down to P11, P12. Lions Fernie and Craig getting past him as well, and Amazing Pie-Boy getting so wide coming out there, but Lion Fernie was the one who was all over the grass as well. But Little Leech leads this race by 1.5 seconds at the moment. Bod there's closed a little bit on this lap so far, but we've got Keeks sat in P5. It looks like he's trying to close in onto the back of SAS Oulton, but Craig, Unorthodox, Amazing Pie-Boy, Smoky Devil and Lion Fernie all battling in a 5-car train here for 8th place. Currently Pro Ballast looks like he's trying to get away from this pack a little bit. As we can see now, Ian has got Craig looking to his inside. Craig's going to have that move done on Emo Guy. Is Unorthodox going to try and follow Craig through? It looks like he does. Ian losing so many positions here coming through into Druids now. He's got Amazing Pie-Boy and Smoky Devil also queuing up behind him. Lions Fernie as well. This is an incredible fight here for what is a 9th place here, or 8th place even in this one. Craig leading this 5-car battle as they come into Lodge Corner for the second time here in this race. Little Leech still leads this one by 1.1 seconds. It looked like Unorthodox had a bit of a better run there coming out onto the pit straight. He's going to have the slipstream here on Craig. Is he going to have a chance coming up towards turn 1? I don't think he is. He's a little bit too far back into Old Hall Corner. Ian there going very defensive on the run up towards turn 1. He doesn't want to allow Smoky Devil to get a sniff of a chance up the inside. He's defending that one very nicely. Smoky Devil P11 there. Amazing Pie-Boy and Lion Fernie dropping off for these guys just a little bit now. off of this battle for 9th place. As we see, that is Emo Guy getting incredibly wide there out of Cascade. Smoky Devil up the inside will seize on that, and it looks like Amazing Pie Boy is going to follow him through as well. So Amazing Pie Boy making up a position. It looks like Lions Fernie's up the inside of Ian as well. So Ian dropping back left, right and centre here. He is going backwards here, and it looks like Lions Fernie and Emo Guy coming together into shallow corner. Lions Fernie is round and facing the wrong way, and he's into the barriers. That is not what Lions Fernie would have wanted at all. Emo Guy's got ahead of Amazing Pie Boy. It looks like Amazing Pie Boy had a bit of a moment there coming through shallow and hairpin, but Emo Guy up into 11th. Smoky Devil there in the final top 10 spots, dropped off the back of those guys in that little skirmish. But Pro Ballast running in P6 has got Craig, Unorthodox and SAS Ogsy behind him, but SAS Ogsy's made a mistake here because he was right up the front a few laps ago. He's now down in 9th place, and what has happened up the front, you see there is Bod has lost lots of time to the race leader Little Leech. Little Leech has now got an 8-second gap at the front. Keegs is running in P2 just ahead of HRT Zeus. HRT Zeus hassling the back of him coming up towards Lodge. It looks like he's a bit too far back to go for that move onto the brakes, but Bod has had an absolute mare over these last couple of laps. He's now down to P4. He is 10 seconds off of the race leader Little Leech, so the man who took pole position in the qualifying session not having the best of starts to this race, it has to be said. Fury there, P5, 15 seconds off of the leader Little Leech. Pro Ballast has managed to drop these guys a little bit, Unorthodox and Craig, and looks like we've got Craig really putting some pressure now. Oh, it looks like actually we got SAS Ogsy there. It looks like he's running just behind these guys, but that is Pro Ballast getting up ahead of Unorthodox there. Go back to this battle for P2. Keegs and HRT Zeus currently giving it everything. HRT Zeus having a little look into the inside, coming into Island Bend. He's not going to be able to make that one into Island Bend. It's a flat out left-hander. There's not really much room for error except if you get onto that grass, in which case there's a lot of room for error. But shallow hairpin is really the main passing opportunity. HRT Zeus not quite close enough to commit himself down the inside. Has a little look coming in towards Britain's, but he's not going to be able to get that one done. Bod there running in P4. He'll be hoping he can try and close the gap to these two while they battle it out. Any little slips from Keegs or HRT Zeus, and that will bring Bod very much into the picture for a podium spot here in this sprint race. There is Fury still sat in P5. He's got Pro Ballast now closing in on him a little bit, and Unorthodox is right on the back of Pro Ballast now as they come into Knickerbrook chicane. You see there Pro Ballast just keeping his line through the corner, defending that position very nicely. Unorthodox can't find a way around him at the moment. These guys 6th and 7th places. They've shaken off Ogsy and Craig a little bit. Smoky Devil has got Emo Guy not too far behind him as well. Amazing Pie Boy just Emo Guy's rear gunner at this point. Emo Guy having made that mistake coming into shallow hairpin a couple of laps ago. He's dropping back places and lots of time in the process. And you see there that is Amazing Pie Boy looking to the inside, running onto the grass a little bit there. In the end has to back out at that one. Can't quite get that one done on Emo Guy. Emo Guy's not going to allow Amazing Pie Boy to get around him there. So it's as you were between those boys. Keegs though still sat in P2, and it looks like Bod is closed up onto the back of Zeus coming up towards Old Hall corner. Is he going to try and go around it outside here? It looks like he can't do that one. HRT Zeus holding on to that position. Bod was trying to make the move up the inside of Old Hall. It was HRT Zeus who was in front beforehand, and in the end Zeus is holding on to that position by the skin of his teeth. But Bod, the man who was on pole position in the qualifying session, was second for the opening couple of laps, made a mistake a couple of laps ago, dropped him down to 4th place. He's currently on a bit of a recovery mission here. He'll be wanting to get up into that podium positions for sure. Onto the brakes into Shell Oil, but it's currently Keegs holding on for that P2 ahead of Zeus and Bod. Little Leech checking out at the front. What a drive from this man. He has driven absolutely superbly so far in this sprint race, has Little Leech. He has not put a foot wrong. He has just driven off into the distance, ridden off into the sunset. Fantastic job from him. Keegs there still trying to fend off HRT Zeus as they come up towards Britain's corner. Is HRT Zeus going to try and make it round the long way here as they come onto the brakes? It looks like he's going to... Oh, he's holding it around. All right on the edge of the white line. Gives him a little bump. Tries to shove him out of the way. But HRT Zeus is having absolutely none of that. He puts it back up the inside, coming out of Knickerbrook and up towards... out of hit stops up into Knickerbrook, but Keegs there holding on to P2 by the skin of his teeth. HRT Zeus is really wanting to get a move on here. He's got Bod right behind him. These guys are queuing up behind Keegs, so HRT Zeus and Bod definitely being compromised. It's being stuck behind Keegs at this point as they come up towards Lodge corner. Bod having a little look to the inside there into the corner, but he's a little bit too far back to get that one done on Zeus just at the moment. It's as you were between these guys. Little Leech still pulling out that gap. 11 seconds he's got at the front to Keegs and HRT Zeus. with Bod right behind them. Unorthodox looks like he's eyeing up a move here on Pro Ballast. These two have been battling it out for the last few laps, but Dan has now got the run. They're side by side here down the pit straight, coming up towards Old Hall corner. Unorthodox is surely going to have that one done into the Old Hall. Yes, he does. He's got to move up into P5. Good stuff there from Dan. And it looks like Ballast gets a little bit loose coming out of the corner. Fury now surely going to sense up an opportunity. Side by side on the run up towards Cascades. Is Fury going to have this one done? It looks like he does, and Ballast goes all sorts of wide on the exit of Cascades. He takes out the Project Cars 2 advertising slogan for good measure, and he's lost a lot of time in that process there. SAS Oxy now dropping back, but it looks like Pro Ballast there getting out of it, so I don't know if Pro Ballast had a penalty or what was going on there, but he's got out of it, and SAS Oxy back up into P7. So maybe a penalty could have been that he felt they had forced him out of the way, but yeah, confusing stuff there. Fury up into P6 in that little exchange though. He's on the back of Unorthodox at the moment. Can Fury get himself back up into P5? Obviously Unorthodox making that move on Fury a few moments ago. It looks like Zeus has got that move done on Keeks, though, up into second place. Bod dropping off of these guys a little bit over the last lap or so, but HRT Zeus getting that one done. I assume he probably got that one done on the brakes into Hislops, and he's now into some clean air. 12 seconds behind the race leader though. This man Little Leach has not put a foot wrong all race, and he's just putting distance between himself and the rest of the guys out on track. What a splendid display from Little Leach so far, as he just kicks up a bonnet from somebody. It looks like that's a back marker there. Who's that? That is Lion Fernie there, getting well out of the way. DJ Phil sat in 13th place, will be next up for Little Leach. Little Leach flashing his lights there, and DJ Phil very sensibly there, moving over to the side of the road and allowing Little Leach to continue on his way without disruption. There is Zeus still fending off Keeks at the moment. Bod very much in striking distance, a second separating these three guys at the moment. They're coming to the brakes into Cascades. Zeus having made that move on Keeks just a lap or so ago, and it's now, well, I assume he'll be trying to stretch out that gap, but Keeks is not letting off the hook. He's very much sticking onto the back of him at this point. You see there, Keeks is having a little look to the inside, trying to distract Zeus in the mirrors coming into Island Bend. He knows he's not going to be able to go for a move up the inside into that corner, but the aim is that maybe he can put Zeus off a little bit, try and get him thinking about defending the position more than actually taking the corner, and that could potentially force Zeus into a mistake, but Zeus is not going to have any of that. I know Zeus very well from the Clio Cup, obviously racing Tier 1 this season, having gained promotion from Tier 2 last season. We know that Zeus is not going to be falling for any little tricks like that. Keeks has got Bod very much on his rear end now as they come up towards Hislop chicane. I think he's a little bit too far back to go for that one, so Bod is going to have to stick behind in P4. But Bod, I'm sure, will be hoping for a podium finish here, because he did get the pole position in the qualifying session, just 2 tenths ahead of Little Leach. Little Leach has absolutely bossed this race, but Bod currently the only man out of the second, third and fourth battle without a penalty, so he could possibly benefit from HRT Zeus and Keeks having those penalties at the end of this race. Very much still on the cards for Bod to finish in the top 3 here, as we see a flash to the lights there from Zeus towards this back marker here, who we believe to be DJ Phil, and Bod's making a move to the inside into Lodge corner. He's got that one done on the brakes there. Bod is up into 3rd place. Keeks has to relinquish that position. Keeks now down to 4th, losing a bit of time over these last couple of laps as Keeks, HRT Zeus and Bod up into 2nd and 3rd places. You see there DJ Phil getting well out of the way and allowing Zeus, Bod and Keeks to really reassume their race. Fury though running in P5, he's put a bit of a gap between himself and Unorthodox now, 3 seconds separating those guys. Fury's really got the hammer down over these last couple of laps. There is Pro Ballast just ahead of Smoky Devil at the moment. Amazing Pie Boy currently sat in 9th. There is Emo Guy. There hasn't been a good race for Emo Guy, it must be said. I know he likes Oulton Park. He took the double, actually, Emo Guy took the double at this track in the touring cars last season, but it has not gone to plan one bit for him here in this GT4, in this Ginetta G40 Supercup for the opening round of the season here. Season 6 of our Project Cars 2 leagues here at Motive Racing. It's not gone the way he would have wanted it to at all. But here is the man at the moment, Little Leach. He's still leading this race. 12 seconds he's got over HRT Zeus at the front. Zeus has pulled out 1.5 seconds to Bod in the last couple of laps. Bod in turn putting some space between himself and Keeks. Keeks has only got 5 seconds back to Fury, so if Fury continues lapping in the 148s as he is doing now, then we could be seeing Fury up into 4th place, maybe even a podium if he really gets his skates on. So Fury only 6 seconds behind Bod. I don't think he's got a pace advantage over Bod. He has definitely got a pace advantage over Keegs though. So we'll have to watch this space. Fury could be on for a P4. Unorthodox there, sat P6, Pro Ballast 6 seconds down the road from Unorthodox in 7th. There's Amazing Pie Boy, currently in 8th place at the moment in this race. He's 3 seconds ahead of Emo Guy, who's had a total disaster of a race tonight. I'm very surprised to see Ian down in 9th place, 30 seconds off of the race lead. I know that he is a bit of a track specialist around this track, Oulton Park, so this is a real head scratcher for me, especially the fact that he said in the build up to this season he prefers the rear wheel drive cars, these Ginetta G40s, to the Renault Meganes which he drives in the touring cars. Bear in mind he got very close to winning the title in the touring cars last season. He had an absolute hell of a season, did Emo Guy. So yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on with him tonight, but we all have our off days and maybe this is just one of those days for him, but I'm sure he'll be bouncing back stronger than ever in the feature race. Smoky Devil currently sat in the final top 10 spot at the moment there. He's 31 seconds off of the leader, Little Leech. He's currently looks like he's keeping the gap to Emo Guys. We see DJ Phil getting out of the way there. But there is SAS Ogsy. He made a good start to this race, did Ogsy, but the rest of the race since then has really not been kind to him. Likewise Craig, promising start, good opening couple of laps. It's all gone pear-shaped for him since then. Craig driving in one of the newcomers to Motive Racing actually in this new year. Good to have Craig out on track, driving in the number 37 black and red G40. 4 minutes left on the clock. Little Leech still leading this one by 11.5 seconds at the moment. Zeus still pulling away from Bod. Bod still pulling away from Keegs. Oh, what's happened to Fury? Fury's dropped down to P10. What's happened? Fury must have had a spin or some kind of excursion. He's dropped down to P10. So he's lost positions to Unorthodox, Pro Ballast, Amazing Pie Boy, Emo Guy, Smoky Devil. He's got 5 seconds back to SAS Ogsy. But yeah, Fury clearly having some kind of problem on that last lap. He'll be trying to recover these positions on Smoky Devil and Emo Guy over the last couple of laps, I'm pretty sure of that. Here is Little Leech currently coming through Cascades at the moment. He has got an 11-second gap over HRT Zeus at the front. It's been an absolutely splendid performance from Little Leech so far tonight. He has really driven the wheels off of that yellow number 31 car tonight. Hats off to him. He's clearly put in the work and the practice, and it is showing to the full extent. Really am impressed with Little Leech. Drives regularly in our Clio Cup. Is a out and out tier 1 driver. Generally sort of like between the front and the mid pack in the tier 1 for the Clio Cup. Clio is probably one of the most competitive leagues on sim racing on Project Cars 2 in general, not just motor racing, but I would say the Clio Cup tier 1 is one of the closest, most hard fought leagues out there. So Little Leech a regular contender for podium spots in that one, and generally in the top half in most of the races, but he is really showing his mettle here in this GT5 Ginettas at the moment. 2 minutes left on the clock. It's going to be close as to whether or not we're going to have 1 or 2 more laps in this race. 2 minutes left now, so I think it's going to be very nip and tuck as to whether we have 1 more lap or 2 more laps. I think we're going to have 1 more lap. Little Leech is coming out of Lodge Corner now to start the final lap of the race. What a race it's been. It's been lots of action in the mid-pack, and we see, looks like Keegs has dropped back to P6. What's happened there? Pro Ballast is up into 5th. So Keegs losing a position. He's lost a lot of time over this race. Keegs is running in P2 for much of this one, and it looks like Bod has got himself up into P2. So Zeus has made a mistake somewhere on this lap. We just see Zeus crossing the line there. 1:57 last time around for Zeus. So he's had a mare on lap 10. Bod up into 2nd place, our pole sitter Ryan Bod there. Looks like he is going to come home in P2 on this final lap. Looks like we've got a battle going on here though. Emo Guy is holding it on the inside of Smoky Devil. Smoky Devil really fighting him for this one. Last time around Smoky Devil was a second quicker than Emo Guy. He's going to want to get this one done on his final lap, that's for sure. There's Fury in the background having lost the positions there. He was running in P4. It looked like he had a chance of closing in on possibly Bod for a podium earlier on in this race, but it wasn't to be for Fury. But here is Little Leech. He is coming into his stop chicane for the final time. in towards Knickerbrook now, past the water tower section here at Oulton Park, and here he comes into Druids Corner for the final time here. Little Leach took the lead coming into turn 1, qualified in second place but got the jump on Bod straight away. He has not looked back since. He has driven off into the distance. 14 seconds is his gap as he comes into Lodge Corner. It's going to be Little Leach who's going to take the opening round of the season here for the GT5 G40 Ginetta Supercup Motive Racing. Absolutely fantastic performance from Little Leach as he takes the checkered flag. It's going to be Bod coming round in second place. The man who put it on pole position could not convert that into a victory. Got a little bit caught up in battles he probably could have done without in the mid part of the race there. P2 for Bod. Managed to get that move done on Zeus and on Keegs. Keegs dropped down to P7 there. My goodness. Zeus comes over to complete the podium. Unorthodox comes over, P4 for him, our LMP2 champion from last season. Pro Ballister, good debut from him, P5. Solid result. Amazing Pie Boy finishes in 6th place, and Emo Guy in the end nabs 7th off of Keegs, so a late charge there from Ian. Keegs dropped down to 8th place in the end, having held 2nd place for pretty much the majority of that race. Keegs having an absolute capitulation at the end there. Fury 9th. Smoky Devil completes that top 10. We've got Craig just coming in towards Lodge Corner for the final time. Good to have Craig out on track with us tonight, making his debut here at Motive Racing. Solid result, Craig. Good to have you with us. Welcome to Motive, buddy. We've got Ogsy coming around in P12. It was a good start for Ogsy in this race, but the second half of the race really did not go to plan. But nonetheless, good to have Ogsy out on track. Welcome to Motive Racing, as well to you, Ogsy, as he comes over. 12th position for him. And DJ Phil already finished the race. So that is that, ladies and gentlemen, for the sprint race. Big thank you to the 18 guys watching us live on stream. Guys, if you like what you see here, make sure you drop a like on this video. Subscribe to the Motive Racing channel. If you want to get involved in the on-track action, then head over to motiveracing.com. We're not going anywhere. We're still going to be on for our feature race coming up in a few moments' time. So stay tuned for that one. We will be back very, very shortly indeed. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Motive Racing. If you're just joining us tonight for the first time, guys, you've missed out on a very exciting sprint race here for this GT5 Ginetta G40 Supercup here. We saw Little Leach taking a dominant victory in the opening race of the season, that sprint race. He drove away with the race victory, won it by 14 seconds in the end, started on the front row alongside this man here, Ryan Bod, who ended up coming in second after a good battle with Keeks and HRT Zeus for the duration of the race. But for this one, we have got a wet qualifying session in store for you guys, so it's going to be a pretty unpredictable one. I guess it's going to be whoever gets to grips with these tricky and slippery conditions the quickest will end up coming away with pole position here for this one. But it is going to be quite a tricky affair for all of these guys tonight. We've got a newcomer to the grid as well. Just a quick shout out, Matahimovic was racing over on F1 2020 with us at Albert Park about an hour or so ago now, and it's great to have Matahimovic on the track here, not just on F1 but also on Project Cars 2 as well. Our regular commentator for the Clios and the touring cars, also the owner and admin of Simplay Motorsport. Simplay Motorsport, obviously a few of our guys here at Motive, including myself, actually run there on Wednesdays and Thursdays, so we enjoy their hospitality very much, and it's great to have them on the track with us as well. Matimovic getting a chance to finally rag a car around the track and enjoy some racing, cutting his teeth into some action here out on track. Great to have him out on track, and obviously some of you will already know him from the Clios and the touring cars. He's the man, Matthew Duffin, who provides the magic in the commentary box every Tuesday and Sunday night. So yeah, massive shout out to him for being out on track tonight. But plenty of others out there as well. It looks like he has picked up a grid penalty actually for what I would assume would be crossing the white line on pit exit. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not hopefully going to matter a whole great deal. But I'm sure we'll be seeing guys like Little Leach and Bod putting in some fast lap times here towards the beginning of this feature race qualifying session. Everybody out on track able to set a lap time for the first round of the season. Next week for the sprint race we will have a reverse grid based on the championship standings, just to throw an extra twist into the mix and make it a bit more challenging for those guys who had a good round for starters here at Oulton. Just going to see if we can get a quick word on the weather, if possible, because I'm not 100% on what weather conditions we are expecting for this feature race. Let's have a look. So it would appear that for the opening round of the season it's going to be obviously a light rain qualifying session, then we're expecting a clear race for the feature race, so we're expecting dry conditions for the race. It's just this qualifying session where we're going to be in pitch darkness and very slippery wet conditions. HRT Zeus currently getting to grips with these wet conditions, the best of anybody out there at the moment, currently sat on P1 with a 1 minute 54.9. HRT Zeus obviously came third in that sprint race, ended up getting edged out by Ryan Bod towards the end of the race, but he's currently setting the pace here in the early stages of this qualifying session. Still 9 minutes left on the clock. Guys, I want to say a quick shout out to our website motiveracing.com. If you're watching live on YouTube, be sure to check out the website. If you want to get involved in the on-track action, head over there, join our Discord server, make sure you get involved in some of the best on-track action. We see HRT Zeus getting a little bit out of shape there, and he's going to have to let a couple of guys go past there. Resumes the track coming on the exit of Britain's there, but that was definitely not what he would have wanted there. We've got a few people on the comment section. J-Palm, one of our ACC coordinators, great to have J-Palm in the chat. Also Victor Alvarez, welcome along J-Palm and Victor Alvarez. Matthew Duffin been commenting in the chat as well. The only G saying that we need to go through my audio settings. Right. James Brody saying nice work Fury. Fury had a strong race in the first part of the sprint race. The second part of the sprint race definitely didn't go to plan for him. He really did have a bit of a mare, dropped back to 10th place, but I'm sure that Fury's going to be using the struggles towards the end of that sprint race as fire in his belly to come back fighting harder than ever here in this feature race. Let's see where Fury is on the track actually. It looks like he hasn't done a lap at the moment, so still yet to do a timed lap. HRT Zeus leads this qualifying session, 0.3 of a second he's got over Bod. Can he improve his lap time here? Can he extend that margin at the top of the order? He crosses over the line now. HRT Zeus can't improve for the time being. Bod P2 currently coming on next to the Britons. Looks like he's got a penalty. He's slowed right down on the exit of the chicane. There is Amazing Pie Boy. He's currently sat in third in this session. Unorthodox just brought it into the pits. Smoky Devil in the pits as well. SAS Oxy likewise. So lots of these guys maybe making a little adjustments to the setups. Obviously with the wet conditions it was definitely room for improvement for certain. There is DJ Phil coming into Lodge Corner. Let's see what he can get up to here. DJ Phil, a bit of a specialist in wet conditions. Let's see if he can continue with the form that we've seen over past seasons here at Motive. He's coming up towards the line now. Can he improve on his lap time? Looks like he can't for the time being. Keegs up into P7, but I'm sure we'll be seeing improvements from Keegs there. That's definitely not the most that Keegs is capable of. So top four, Zeus, Bod, Amazing Pie Boy and Unorthodox currently. Matinvich still yet to set a lap time there. Also got Lion Fernie out there at the moment. He's currently still yet to set a lap time. So is Pro Ballast. Pro Ballast is in the wall though on the exit of Britons. He's in the tyre barrier. He's wiped out his front headlights as well, so guys will struggle to see him, but hopefully they do spot him. Actually, he's got a clear track behind him, so he's alright, but Pro Ballast there getting a bit out of shape. Little Leach, the dominant winner in that sprint race, currently sat P5 in this qualifying session. He's 2.4 seconds off the pace. Seems like he's not quite got that incredible turn of pace that he had in the sprint race in these wet conditions, but we are expecting a dry feature, so we will probably see a continuation of the type of form that we saw from Little Leach in that one. But if he's starting in the mid-pack, then it could very much throw an extra twist into it. It will give guys like Zeus and Bod a chance to possibly break away at the front. If Little Leach gets caught up in any incidents, that will really impede him. Fury's granddad in the comments section saying, "Go Fury." Big welcome back to Fury's Grandad. Great to see you. Happy New Year to you, Fury's Grandad. Hopefully we'll be seeing Fury putting in a hell of a performance here in this feature race. He's currently sat in P9 at the moment in this session, but don't let that get you down at all, because I know Fury will be absolutely gunning on the opening lap. He always makes gains on the opening lap, does Fury. That's one thing we can always say about him, is he makes fiery starts to the races. He always gains places off of the line. And obviously Fury driving on a new wheel this season as well. He was used to race on the DualShock 4, but nowadays he is racing on the G29 sim rig, which is an absolutely splendid bit of kit, I must say. Very reasonably priced as well. Fury did pick that one up on his birthday, and since then, I'd say, to be fair, he was really quick on the pad already, but he's more consistent now. He can pump in lap times, pretty much similar lap times each and every lap. As we see him, he's got some traffic here in front of him. Is that SES Oxy? No, it's not. It's somebody in the same livery as Oxy. I think it might be Lion Fernie. Is it? It is indeed Lion Fernie. But Lion Fernie eventually moving over. Fury able to pick up that, well, move up ahead of him. See what Fury's lap time is. Looks like he still can't really set a proper full lap in anger. He's got 4 minutes left to do it. Still time in this session for him to get himself up that order, maybe up into a top 5 position possibly. We know he's capable of it. Bod there currently sat in P2. He's 0.3 of a second off of HRT Zeus's provisional pole position time at the moment. Matimovic has just moved himself up into P5 there, ahead of Little Leach, driving the number 32 yellow livery there, the GT5 Ginetta G40, as is everybody. Got him a little bit loose there coming out of Oulton onto the curb on the exit of the corner, but he's kept it together for the time being through Cascades. Lovely line through there, absolutely shaving off every bit of time he possibly can. Just over 2 seconds off of that provisional pole time, but we'll be seeing improvements from Matimovic over the course of this session. This man doesn't get to race a whole lot. He spends a lot of his time commentating, commentates for us on the Tuesday and Sunday nights for the Clios and the touring cars, commentates over in his own league at Simplay on Wednesdays and Thursday nights for their GT3s, both the Pro-Am on Wednesdays and the Pro Series on Thursdays. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you check out Simplay Motorsport as well. Go to YouTube, type in Simplay Motorsport, or go to facebook.com/Simplay Motorsport and check those guys out. They are a fantastic league. Myself and a few of the admins here at Motive do actually race over there in the week as a way to wind down from the constant stresses of running a racing league. But no, I'm joking. It's not really too much of a stress. We all enjoy it. We all absolutely love the challenges that we face every day, and giving people a good community to race in, bringing a smile to people's faces. That's what we do this for. We do this because of the satisfaction of bringing people something that they can enjoy. See what Matimovic can do here as he's coming out of Druid's corner up towards Lodge now for what should be, I think he'll get 2 more runs after this. 2 minutes 20 on the clock. He should get an opportunity to do a couple more laps in this session, staying off that curb on the exit of the corner. Let's see what this is going to be for Matthew Duffin as he crosses over the line now, and he improves his lap time, but not by enough to move himself up the order. He stays P6, just behind Little Leach in that classification for the time being. So Zeus, Bod, Amazing Pie Boy, the top 3 guys here in this session. Unorthodox out there at the moment on a lap. Our LMP2 champion and Clio Cup Tier 2 runner-up coming into Druids now. Let's see what Unorthodox can do here. Oh, he gets a big twitch there coming out of Druids. Fury's Grandad there saying your predictions certainly make us laugh, Andy. Well, that's what I'm here for, Fury's Grandad. I'm here to provide a little bit of satirical value to your evenings, your Friday evenings here during lockdown, what is an absolutely miserable time on this planet. Let's try and bring a smile to everyone's faces and make it just a little bit more bearable. Unorthodox there improved his lap time by 0.3, but he wasn't able to put it up ahead of Amazing Pie Boy. He stays P4 for the time being. There is Little Leach just coming through the final sector into Druid's corner now. And he's just behind. Oh no, is that Oxy or is that Lion Fernie? It's Oxy there getting loose out of Druids, and he retires to the pits. That would have really compromised Little Leach though. Our dominant race winner in that sprint race. Fury's granddad, don't do the accents. I'm never ever doing that again, Fury's granddad. I mean, I might do if I... no, I'd only do it from off my head. I definitely won't be doing that again. Little Leach can't improve, stays P5 at the moment. Oh, he went a bit wide there coming out of Old Hall Corner. I don't know if he would have got a slowdown penalty for that one. But yeah, definitely taking advantage of the track limits there, running the risk of falling foul of the race director. There is Fury, currently in 7th at the moment. He's got himself reasonably prominent here in this qualifying session. Now's the time where he needs to put all of the knowledge that he's acquired in this qualifying session to good use. He needs to combine everything that he's learned over these laps, over these last few minutes, and he needs to piece it all together to put in the perfect lap. Let's see what he can do here. He's running just behind Little Leach on the track. He's got a good reference point. Little Leach, the winner of the sprint race, certainly knows what he's doing. Fury can watch that and see where he can gain time. He gets a little bit over the grass there, coming out of Britain's corner though. But HRT Zeus spotted an amazing pie boy in the pits. 1, 2 and 3. Unorthodox crosses the line, can't improve, stays P4 for the time being. Little Leach is just coming through Knickerbrook now. Little Leach, Fury and Craig, the only guys out there on lap times at the moment. It'll be Little Leach to cross the line first, then followed by Fury, and then Craig will be the last to finish this feature race qualifying session. Little Leach, the sprint race winner, coming into Druids for the final time in this qualifying session. You can see he's minus the front right headlight there. He's obviously had a hefty whack into the wall at some point throughout this qualifying session, not sure when, but obviously with visual damage it's not affecting him too much. Into Lodge Corner now, onto the brakes. Let's see if he can get a pole position here right at the end, obviously to follow up his sprint race victory. Little Leach out onto the start finish straight and out, up and over the line now. What is it going to be for Little Leach? He can't improve, stays P5. Can Fury improve? No, he can't. He bins it over the line, obviously accepting that he's not going to go any faster. Craig coming over the line, what can he do? Can he improve? I don't think he did. I think he stayed 11th. He did indeed. So it's HRT Zeus lining up on pole position for this one with Bod alongside him. Amazing Pybo and Unorthodox on row 2. Then Little Leach and Matahimovic 5th and 6th places. Guys, stay tuned for what is going to be an absolutely fantastic feature race here in dry conditions as well here at Oulton Park. Here we go then, guys. This is it. This is the moment we've all been waiting for, the feature race of the evening for Motive Racing's GT5 Ginetta G40 Supercup. HRT Zeus lining up on pole position for this one. The man who took third in the sprint race, the man who took second ahead of him, is lining up alongside him on the front row. Ryan Bod, who took pole position for that sprint race. P2 on the grid. Amazing Pyburn on Northops behind these guys, and it's lights out and away we go. And it's a good start there from Fury off the line. Immediately gets ahead of Little Leach. Little Leach is slightly bogged down. Looks like Zeus is going to hold on to the lead coming in towards turn 1. Amazing Pieboy trying on the outside coming into Old Hall corner. Amazing Pieboy's got a fantastic run around the outside up into P2. Unorthodox is going to try and follow him through here, and we see there's somebody off. Somebody's got sideways coming up towards Cascades. I think Matahimovic is round, and it looks like DJ Phil caught up in that as well. Pro Ballast maybe had to swerve out of the way to avoid him, but Amazing Pieboy there getting a fantastic run out of turn 1, getting up into first place. Unorthodox managed to follow him through. Zeus losing positions left, right and centre. Zeus has got Bod looking to his inside, coming into Island Bend, but Unorthodox has taken the lead coming through Island Bend up into Shallow Hairpin. Incredible stuff from Dan. He now finds himself P1 here in this race. Amazing Pieboy P2 has got Zeus trying to fight back here, but Ryan Bod there losing places as well, down to P4. So Zeus and Bod from the front row of the grid down to 3rd and 4th. It's straight away here in this race. Not the start that those guys would have wanted at all at the beginning of this feature race. Unorthodox though, P1 at the moment, leads this race. Amazing Pieboy in 2nd place. Unorthodox defending to the inside, coming up towards Hislop Chicane, and Bod also having a look to the inside of Zeus coming into the corner as well. Fury P5, there is Ogsy in 6th. Little Leech, not the best starts to him for this race. 7th place at the moment. There is DJ Phil, good progress for him at the start. A Pro Ballast on the inside, and it looks like Matahimovic taking evasive action on the inside, and it looks like Matahimovic is round. Matahimovic is down to 11th place here. He's spun it coming through Hislops into Knickerbrook, and he's got Lions 30 right behind him now, but disaster for Matahimovic there. Losing lots of time on this opening lap. Unorthodox leads this field. He's already pulled out a second to Zeus at the moment. Zeus is having to defend really heavily from Bod. An Amazing Pieboy's lost out to both HRT Zeus and Bod as they come into Lodge Corner for the first time here. Unorthodox leading this race by 6/10 to Zeus as they come over the line to complete lap 1 here of this race. Absolutely hair-raising stuff here as we get underway for this feature race. Really great racing already, and we see there Unorthodox leading but just about ahead of Zeus coming into turn 1. But Zeus has got a fantastic run coming out of turn 1. He's got the run here. He's looking to the inside, coming up towards Cascades with side by side. No, he's not. Zeus has to back out of that one in the end. He thought better of making a lunge up the inside of Cascades, and he's sat tight for the time being. But now Bod is going to get a nice run coming out of Cascades, and somebody's off in the background there. Who is that? I think that's Fury there, getting all sorts of out of shape there at the next to the Cascades. And Little Leech is up the inside of SAS Oxy now, up into P6. So Little Leech there making that position. SAS Oxy down to 7th place. Unorthodox still leading this race, but he goes wide coming through Shallow Hairpin. And HRT Zeus is up the inside. Is he? No, he still can't get that one done. Unorthodox just by the skin of his teeth holding on for that P1 position, and now Bod looking to the outside of HRT Zeus coming into Britain's corner, but he can't quite get that one done. Amazing Pieboy just watching this unfold in front of him. This is an incredible battle. 4 cars separated by a second here on lap 2 of this race. Unbelievable start to this one. Fury's got back ahead of Little Leech and SS Ogsy there, but Pro Ballast in the background. He's losing time to these guys. Emo Guy, Keegs, DJ Phil having a bit of a battle back in the pack as well, but Unorthodox leading this race by the slenderest of margins here on lap 2. Zeus trying to look for a way around Unorthodox at the moment. Unorthodox having got the lead on the opening lap, made that move up the inside. Amazing Pieboy coming up into Shallow. Amazing Pieboy since then lost a couple of positions to Zeus and Bod, but Zeus and Bod very much on the back of Unorthodox here, and we see there Zeus trying to distract Unorthodox in the mirrors. That's a little bit of a tactic from Zeus that we've spotted over this, well, the last 2 races really, is he really does try and put pressure on the car in front by just making little feints to the inside, trying to get into the guy's head, possibly force them into a defensive move. But Unorthodox is not having any of that. He's an experienced sim racer, as our LMP2 champion from last season. Unorthodox, he knows a thing or two about keeping his cool and composure, and he's currently leading this one by the slenderest of margins, it must be said. But he is currently in P1 coming through Cascades for the 3rd time here in this race. Zeus, Bod, Amazing Pieboy very much in hot pursuit though. 7/10 of a second separating the top 4 guys here in this feature race, and we see there Bod having a little look to the inside of Zeus coming up towards Island Bend. He's not going to be able to get that one done at the moment. Let's ride on board with the Amazing Pieboy and see what he's seeing. You can see there the 3 guys in front of him really going at it here at the beginning of this race. We saw there Zeus getting a little bit onto the grass there as he came out of Shallow Hairpin, almost close to tears I'm sure, but keeping onto it just about at this point in the race. Amazing Pieboy watching this unfold in front of him. He was in P2 on the first lap. He was in P1 very briefly for half a lap. Unorthodox made that move up the inside of Shallow to take that first place. Since then has led the race. But this is an unbelievable battle from these 4 guys. They seem to be bouncing bouncing off of each other with the slipstream and really pushing each other to the next level here. These four pulling away from the rest of the pack. It looks like Fury and Little Leech still battling over 5th and 6th. Little Leech the dominant winner in the sprint race, but showing that being stuck in the middle of a pack in traffic can make such a big difference to your race. Now that he's not in clear air, he's 5-6 seconds behind the leaders, guys. So just goes to show this is an incredibly close field in this GT5 Cup here at Motive, and we see there Bod getting a little bit loose coming through to the large corner, but Amazing Playboy unable to capitalise on that one. Looks like HRT Zeus has got the run here on Unorthodox coming up towards Old Hall Corner. He's looking to the outside. Unorthodox goes a little bit defensive, and HRT Zeus goes very late on the brakes coming into the corner. He's not going to be able to do that one though. He's simply not going to be able to find enough grip, braking that late for that corner, and in the end tucks in behind Unorthodox for P2. But what incredible racing we're seeing here. Bod and Amazing Playboy still just watching this one unfold. Little Leech looks like he's all over the back of Fury coming into Cascades. Still unable to find that move on Fury at the moment. We've lost a couple of runners from this race, a couple of retirements already. Never what you want to see. Pro Ballast has got Emo Guy and Keegs right up his rear end at the moment as these guys are coming up towards Island Bend. Let's go back to the battle for the lead. As we can see there, Unorthodox Zeus, Bod and Amazing Playboy still giving it absolutely everything. Keegs pressuring Ian, but it doesn't look like he's able to get around him just at the moment there. Little Leech still putting the pressure on Fury. And he's got a nice run coming out of Britain's. Is he going to have an opportunity to go onto the brakes coming into his stops? I think he's a bit too far back. Just too far back. He's on this bumper now though. Bit of a bump up the back there from Little Leech on Fury, but keeping it clean more or less. Four-way battle for the lead still raging on between Dan, Zeus, Bod and Amazing Playboy. Amazing Playboy's dropped off a little bit so far on this lap, but I mean, he's still right there. And we see there 0.3 of a second separating the top three guys now. Zeus making a move to the outside, coming up towards Lodge. Bod having a look to the inside of Zeus. Thing is though, Bod's got is pressuring Zeus so much that Zeus can't afford to make any mistakes. He can't afford to tuck in or get off his line at all there. So now we can see Bod got the run on Zeus. He got such a much better exit out of Lodge Corner up towards Old Hall Corner, and that is Bod up into P2 up the inside. He had that slipstream off of Unorthodox, which was definitely benefiting him coming down the pit straight, and Unorthodox gifted him that toe. So Bod up into P2. Zeus loses the position there despite putting all that pressure on Unorthodox. He just gets undone by a little slip, and that's what happens when you're pack racing in these GT5 G40 Ginettas. They are such close. Well, the racing is so close in these little beasts. It really is absolutely fascinating to watch, and we see there Bod once again having a little look to the inside of Unorthodox. He's not going to be able to get that one. Not going into shallow corner. One little slip from any of these guys and the guy behind is just going to breeze past. It's simple as that. It's almost like NASCAR in these G40s. They are so uncompromising. Beautiful to watch. Unorthodox still leads this one, though. He's led this one since the first lap. He's led the last 5 laps essentially. He's really done a great job of keeping these guys behind him. He made that move up the inside of Amazing Playboy. Since then, Amazing Playboy lost a couple of positions to Bod and HRT Zeus, and has been pretty happy by the looks of it. He's been content to just sit behind and watch this one happen in front of him. Let it unfold, see if these guys trip over each other, but at the moment they're not doing so. They're keeping it very clean and tidy. It has been a testament to Motive Racing, these guys, the way that they've put on a show and done so in the cleanest and fairest possible manner. Only 5 laps into this race and we've seen thrills, spills and drama aplenty. Emo Guy looks like he's managed to pull out a bit of a gap to Pro Ballast over the course of this lap. The gap is almost a second between those two now, so he's got some breathing space. Little Leech has got ahead of Fury up into 5th. We missed that one, but Little Leech making progress. He's currently 5 seconds behind this top 4 battle, so Little Leech will surely be fancying getting himself up into a podium spot here. Was obviously the winner in the sprint race. He's got plenty of time to get himself into this one. 6 seconds over 18 laps, not much of a gap, guys. He needs to average 0.3 of a second a lap quicker than the guys up front, and he'll be very much in the thick of it come the checkered flag. But still early doors in this victory. Oh, and Amazing Playboy and Bod have come together, coming through Cascades. Yellow flag coming through Cascades. Little Leech comes through up into P3, but Bod and Amazing Playboy getting tangled up there. Fury ends up splitting them. He's now up into 4th. In fact, he gets ahead up into 3rd and 4th respectively. But Bod and Amazing just spilling over a little bit, and HRT Zeus has dropped We kind of caught the tail end of that. It looked like there was just a little bit of a domino effect between those guys. Unorthodox now, the main benefactor of that though, he's got 2.5 seconds of a gap to HRT Zeus. So this is really going to play into the hands of Unorthodox now. He's now got some clean air, he's not got any pressure from behind him, he can just drive his own race. Maybe he'll be able to pull away from HRT Zeus. This is also played into the hands of Little Leech. He's now in 3rd place, 7 seconds behind the leaders. 7 seconds behind the leader, Unorthodox, 5 seconds behind HRT Zeus at the moment. Bod is looking up the back of Fury here, trying to bounce back and limit the damage done from that collision with Amazing Pie Boy. Those two guys dropping off massively. Amazing Pie Boy being the big loser in all of that, down to P6. We'll see there Bod having a little look to the inside of Fury, coming up towards Lodge Corner. Fury goes defensive, goes very tight to the corner, late on the brakes from Fury as well, and Bod can't quite get around him at the moment, but Bod is really putting that pressure on. He wants to get into some clean air and chase down those podium spots as soon as he can. Bod will be frustrated with how that's gone, because they were having a really good battle. Those four, Unorthodox Zeus, Bod and Amazing Pieball, were really putting on a hell of a show, but one little slip in his GT5 Ginetta G40, and that could be it. That's suddenly the whole pack sort of split apart. Fury getting a slightly compromised run coming out of Cascade, and now Bod's going to have an opportunity. We're side by side coming up towards Island Bend. Fury giving Bod the space on the inside. Bod surely going to have that one done coming into the corner if he can keep it tight. He does indeed. Bod is up into P4. Good move there from Ryan Bod into some clean air ahead of Fury. Unorthodox still leads this race by 3.2. He's extending that gap to HRT Zeus just a little bit now. Gap was 2.8 last time I checked, it's now 3.3, so half a second he's gained. Unorthodox currently the only man lapping in the 147s out there at the moment. He is the man with the plan, Dan the man, the LMP2 champion here at Motive Racing, the graphic designer as well. Does some fantastic thumbnails, which you'll be able to see when our videos are scheduled. In fact, you can see it all over our YouTube channel. Every single thumbnail since the Hockenheim race in the Clios last season has been designed by this man, the current race leader, also our social media representative. Dan does a hell of a lot for Motive Racing. This man is helping us grow and improve no end, so big shout out to him, and he's currently doing the business out the front here at Oulton Park, leading this race by 3.7 seconds. There is HRT Zeus, currently running in P2, losing a bit of time to Dan on that previous lap. Dan was 0.8 quicker. Unorthodox is increasing that gap at the front non-stop. There is Little Leech, P3, lapping similarly to Unorthodox, but not closing in at the rate that I'm sure he'd want to. In fact, he's not closing in at all. He lost 0.3 to him, but I'm sure he'd wanting to reverse that one a little bit. Bod there having made that move on Fury, currently sat in 4th, just ahead of Fury. Amazing Pie Boy making gains here on Fury on that previous lap, gained 0.3. Obviously Amazing Pie Boy had that incident with Bod, dropped both of them out of the equation. They were battling for the lead at the front with Unorthodox and HRT Zeus in the early stages of this race, but that all went up in smoke, and now they've got to regroup and get themselves together, which they have done pretty decently since that little skirmish. Amazing Pie Boy is closing that gap to Fury now. You see it's almost at a second, so Amazing Pie Boy very much making gains, looking to get up. I'm sure we'll be wanting to salvage a podium from this race. Only a third of the way into this one, so still a long way to go. Still time for Amazing Pie Boy to get himself back in the hunt. And he's only 6 seconds behind Little Leech as well in 3rd, so it's important to note, still definitely not a race over for him. Unorthodox leading this race, 5 seconds he's got at the moment to HRT Zeus, and just gradually increasing that gap at the moment is Dan. Lap before the last one was a 147. This one, no sorry, last one 148.1. Let's see what he does this time around. Is he going to set another purple lap time? Not that time around, but a 148.1. He will take that, I'm sure. He'll be very chuffed with the pace that he's setting at the moment. Zeus can't seem to go with him at the moment, can't seem to match him. Little Leech actually, the only man faster than the race leader last time around. So Little Leech making gains, the sprint race winner, Ryan Bod, less than a tenth off of Little Leach's lap time last time around, pretty much matching Unorthodox as well. Amazing Pie Boy, lapping in the low 148s, pretty much tit for tat with Unorthodox and Bod. One man who looks to be making progress as well is Ian. He's currently sat in 6th, lapping in the 148s. He's matching the leaders, is Ian. So we could be seeing Ian bringing himself into the equation later on in this race. This is a man who, if you remember last season at Oulton Park in the touring cars, driving in his Monster Energy Renault Megane, he got involved in an incident on the opening lap, was 15 seconds behind, went for an early-ish pit stop, and found himself right behind the leaders at the end of the race. And then with the penalties for, I think it was John Boy and Gary, each of those guys had penalties, and Ian actually ended up winning the race via their penalties. He was 15 seconds behind on the opening lap. He just worked away, kept consistent, kept plugging away, and ended up winning the race at Oulton Park at this very track last season. So I'm sure Ian will be remembering that and will be hoping to repeat that feat. But there is still a long way to go here. Still lots of room for errors and thrills and spills. Ian driving his no regrets livery here in this GT5 G40 Supercup. Let's hope he has no regrets after tonight's action. Liam Fernie currently in the pits, bringing it into the box for his mandatory pit stop. Unorthodox last time around was only a tenth quicker than Zeus, so Zeus starting to respond a little bit. Little Leach took half a second out of the race the last time around, but the man on the move on that lap was Ryan Bod, a 1:47.7. He's dipped under 10 seconds behind the race leader Unorthodox now. He currently is on a charge at the moment. He's lapping half a second quicker than Little Leach, the man in front of him, currently 3 seconds up the road. But all of these guys seem to be closing in a little bit. Little Leach and Bod both closing on the race leader at the moment. So this race is by no means over, and HRT Zeus looks like he's dropping back into the clutch to Little Leach just a little bit now. James Brody in the comments saying, "Hi all, go for it Fury, you can do it." Fury, if you need any inspiration, well, Fury not having the best of races at the moment, but he is currently in P10. I think he's just brought it into the pits actually, so that 45-second gap will come down massively towards the end. But James Brody there getting behind his man tonight, and Fury hopefully can use that as definitely motivation in the second part of this race. Currently P10, but as I say, we know that Fury will always come on strong towards the end of the races. Victor Alvarez says, "This is good racing." Absolutely, Victor, I'm loving this. It looks like Little Leach has got ahead of Zeus. Zeus has made a mistake. Zeus is off onto the grass. He must have got onto the curb a bit too much coming out of Druids. He's binned it on the run between Druids and Lodge Corner. He's now down to 5th place, so Zeus has dropped behind Little Leach, Bod and Amazing Pie Boy. Absolute disaster there for HRT Zeus. He's bringing it into the pits. Damage limitation for him. He brings it straight in. The pit window opened on lap 8, so everyone would have been able to come in from lap 8 onwards. Fury's mum in the comments saying, "Go Fury, go." Fury's granddad echoing the sentiments of Fury's mother there in the comments section as we see HRT Zeus off and on his way once again. There is Unorthodox leading this race. 6.5 seconds he's got at the front. Little Leach there, P2 at the moment. Matched Unorthodox last time around. They're absolutely like for like on the previous lap. Craig coming into the pits to make his mandatory stop. He's into the box there, driving in his black and red number 37. Craig making his debut here at Motive Racing tonight. Not been the easiest of evenings for Craig, but we've seen promises we're seeing glimmers of hope, and I'm sure that he will come on strong for this opening appearance here on the Motive Racing channel. As I said earlier on, big welcome to Craig to the Motive Racing fold. Unorthodox currently still edging out that gap a little bit. Last time around, a 1:48.8 from Unorthodox. Little Leach though lost even more time, 1:49 dead from him, so Unorthodox gaining a bit of time on that lap. HRT Zeus has obviously brought it into the pits. He's come out 8 seconds ahead of Fury on the track, but Bod there just 2 seconds behind Little Leach. He took a second out of Little Leach on the previous lap, did Bod, so he's continuing to close that gap, and I wouldn't say it's gradually either. He's taking chunks out of our man in P2, the sprint race winner. Amazing Pie Boy there sat in 4th. Lost a bit of time over the last couple of laps to Bod. I think he must have made a mistake at the beginning of this lap, Amazing Pie Boy, because he's now 7 seconds behind Bod on the track and losing time all the time. Looks like Emo guys closed in a little bit on Amazing Pie Boy now. We see Amazing Pie Boy really dropping back here in this race. Ian's going to be fancying a chance of getting up into that P4. We are expecting... Oh, what's happened to HRT Zeus? I think Zeus is out of the race. I'm not sure what's happened. I was about to say we're expecting Zeus to jump Ian once Ian comes in, but that's not happening anymore. I don't know what's happened to HRT Zeus, but he appears to have retired the car from this feature race. Whatever happens, whatever has happened, we don't know. We'll hopefully get word on that in the Discord. But Ian will definitely be sensing opportunity of getting up into P4 here in this race. With our race leader here, Unorthodox, as he's about to put a lap on Keegs and on Craig, as we see Keegs and Craig going side by side coming up in towards Cascades, and Keegs pushes Craig a little bit wide there. That was a bit naughty from Keegs, I've got to say. He definitely edged Craig out onto the grass, but he's up a position into P9 there. I wonder if Craig will put in a steward's inquiry about that. Ian's still all over the back of Amazing Pie Boy at the moment. Not much at all to separate these guys in 4th and 5th positions. race leader Unorthodox currently stretching out his gap a little bit. He's got 8.5 seconds out the front over Little Leach. Currently just extending that margin, continuing to put in the consistent times. Little Leach, who dominated the sprint race, seems like he can't match Unorthodox for pace here in this feature. All Unorthodox needed was a bit of a break, maybe some clean air, and he's fully able to pump out the lap times when needed. This man driving in the number 16, the white and red G40, our LMP2 champion from last season and runner-up in the Clio Cup Tier 2. Absolutely smashing it in the opening round of this season. Amazing pie boy in the pits. That's his mandatory pit stop out of the way. Looks like he's going to come out a little bit ahead of Fury, well, quite a way ahead of Fury. Matahimovic up into P6 there, and Matt's actually lapping pretty quickly at the moment. Our regular commentator for the Clios and the touring cars, Matahimovic, currently doing a solid job here in these GT5 Ginettas. I'm not sure if he's been into the pits or not. Let me just have a quick peruse back through the stream and have a look. I don't think he's been in. I don't think he's been in. But nonetheless, good showing from Matahimovic tonight. A bit late notice, he was down as a reserve tonight. I believe he was actually on FIFA as we began the race, but I noticed that we had a spot remaining in the lobby, and I immediately thought, let's get Matt in, because he does a lot of commentating. He puts in a lot of work and effort and time to ensuring that other people enjoy their racing. So I think it's only fair that we get him out on the track and we give him an opportunity to show what he can do, because he's pretty strong out on the track as well as talking about it. So always good to have him out on the grey stuff. Currently though, race leader Unorthodox leading this one at 8.8 seconds. Last time around, Little Leach took a little bit of time out of Unorthodox. Oh, as you see, Unorthodox going a little bit wide there on the exit of Cascades. Small mistake there from the race leader, not much. It's not going to cost him the race win, but little errors like that, possibly if they continue to occur, may end up shifting the balance in favour of Little Leach. Currently 8 laps left to go, including this one. And it looks like he's made another mistake there, coming through shallow hairpin. Unorthodox getting well out of shape there, and a gap now down to under 4 seconds here at the front. So Unorthodox there, his lead has gone from 9 seconds to 3 in the space of a few corners. This has blown the race absolutely wide open now. Ryan Bod not too far behind as well in third place, 6.4 seconds off of Unorthodox at the front. Oh my goodness. This isn't anyone's race now. Tell you what, if Zeus hadn't retired from the race, I don't know why he retired, he might have made a mistake before that dropped him out of the running, but he would have been right there. Amazing Pie Boy, I think he's out of striking distance. I think it's pretty much between these three guys now, Unorthodox, Little Leach and Bod. 1, 2 and 3 here in this race. Bod's got some traffic he's about to come up on. I think that is Keegs, it is indeed. And Little Leach is about to put a lap on Craig. So all of the leaders currently in a little bit of traffic. They're going to have to negotiate this cleanly and efficiently. Victor Alvarez saying it's go, game on. 100%. I think this is anyone's race. Unorthodox, Little Leach and Bod. But it looks like Bod's coming into the pits, so he's making his mandatory pit stop. He's opting to try and get the undercut here on these two, Unorthodox and Little Leach. This is absolutely wide open. Victor and James both getting excited in the comments section. Guys, let us know who your money is on. Who's your favourite for this one? Who do you reckon is going to take home the bacon here in this feature race? Unorthodox has led this one since the opening lap, has led every lap up to this point. I don't know if he's got the current fastest lap of the race, but he's led every lap. He's currently got the lead. Let's just have a quick look. He hasn't got the fastest lap. Bod's got the fastest lap, 47.7 from Bod. So Unorthodox has led every lap. He's led from lap 1 up to this lap 17, current lap that we're on. He's currently got the lead of the race as well. I'm sure he wanted to go for that fastest lap as well. Unorthodox, if he's aware that he has led every lap up to this point, may want to leave it until the end before coming in for his pit stop, just to go for that accolade, possibly even go for a Grand Chelem. He's obviously not got the fastest lap at the moment, so he will miss out on that Grand Chelem. Oh, as Unorthodox goes wide, coming out of Druids, he's gone onto the grass and into the ball. Oh no! Where's Little Leach? Little Leach is just coming under the under Warwick Bridge now. So the gap now 0.4 of a second at the front between Unorthodox and Little Leach. This is absolutely throwing the race very much into the balance now. Unorthodox there, possibly listening to the commentary, paying a bit too much attention to what we were saying on the stream about him leading every lap. But the gap now under 0.2 of a second, and it looks like Little Leach is right up his trumpet here as they come through Old Hall Corner. 7 laps left to go here at Oulton Park. This is anyone's race here. Bod currently running in P5. He's already been into the pits, so Unorthodox and Little Leach have both got to come in. Little Leach has got a penalty from the race director, which is a 2-second penalty. So is Bod going to jump these guys maybe if they start holding each other up or tripping over each other? Little Leach with that 2-second penalty could really come back to haunt him at the end of this race. Unorthodox holding on to this race lead. Does Unorthodox think that he's safe? Because he's obviously got Little Leach behind him with that 2-second penalty. Maybe Unorthodox is unaware of the fact that Bod is running in P5 and is in striking distance once these guys come into the pits. Victor Alves said it's a race to the line. It is indeed, Victor. This is going to be so tight between these boys. If I was a gambling man, I wouldn't know which way to turn at this point. Little Leach absolutely hassling the back of Unorthodox. Unorthodox has had the lead of the race since the beginning of this one. Little Leach, winner of the sprint race. I'm sure Little Leach will want to make it a double here at Oulton Park for the opening round of the season, get his campaign in this G40 Ginetta Supercup off to the best possible start, but is he going to be able to do so? What a race between these guys. Into Lodge Corner for the 18th time. We've got 6 laps left to go after this one. This is anybody's race here. Emo guy currently sat in 3rd place. He's 16 seconds off for the leaders. I don't think he's going to be able to get a podium here in this one. Wasn't as the strongest of starts for Ian. It really hasn't gone the way he would have liked to, I'm sure about that. Our lead coordinator here at Motive Racing. Unorthodox and Little Leach separated by 0.2 of a second as they come into Shell Oil Hairpin. Unorthodox has driven absolutely brilliantly, has defended from his pursuers pretty much since the opening lap. He had a train of cars behind him for a while. He had Bod, Amazing Pie Boy and HRT Zeus right behind him. Little Leach was always the man playing catch up since getting involved in a few skirmishes on the opening lap, but since then Little Leach bridged that gap, closed in on these guys, and Bod and Amazing Pie Boy dropped back. Bod currently sat in P5 having made his pit stop. He may come into play, Bod, once these two come in, but Little Leach is the one who has really got his foot down and made gains in this race. These guys are just coming up on some traffic now. You can see there, I believe that to be Craig. Oh no, it's DJ. No, it is Craig. It is Craig. No, it's not Craig. It's DJ Phil. And DJ Phil very observant there as we are coming round to start lap 20 of this race. 5 to go. We still don't know who is going to be the winner of this feature race. Unorthodox has led it from pretty much the get-go. Little Leach won the sprint race earlier on and will be looking to make it back-to-back wins for the opening round of this GT5 Super Cup. 0.2 of a second separating these guys as Little Leach gets extremely wide coming out of Cascades, but doesn't look like he's able to capitalise just at the moment. Little Leach there's got a little marker by his name there. suggesting, well actually that means that he's right behind the car in front, so wouldn't worry too much about that one. Little Leach, we know has got a penalty. We believe it to be 2 seconds unless he's accrued even more penalties since then. We see that, Little Leach was having a little look to the inside on the exit of his stops into Knickerbrook, but he's lost a bit of time there. He had to back out of that one. He had to slam on the brakes a bit to avoid running into Unorthodox, which has gifted Unorthodox a bit of respite here. So Dan coming around Lodge Corner, sorted in this race. Does he pull the trigger now? He does indeed, and he's into the pits. And Little Leach follows him in, so they are coming in together here at the end of lap 20, starting lap 21. Little Leach at the front, pulls into his box. There is Dan into his box now. Where is Bod on the track? Ryan Bod's just coming on the exit of Druids Corner now, underneath Warwick Bridge up towards Lodge Corner. Unorthodox, has he come out of the box? He has, and Little Leach is on his way, and Little Leach has jumped Unorthodox in the pits. His pit crew have pulled an absolute blinder there. Little Leach now into P1. The question is, can Little Leach pull out enough of a gap to Unorthodox to take the win on the overall classification? By the time we get to the checkered flag, it looks like Bod lost a lot of time in the laps out of the pits. He's not able to capitalise on these guys. He's 6 seconds behind them on the track. But Little Leach there getting track position on Unorthodox, and now he's just got to pull away. He's got to really get his foot down. He's just got to throw caution to the wind and go for it. He's got nothing to lose at this point. He's just got to go for this victory here. He took the win in the sprint race. He'll be looking to make that back-to-back wins here in this one, but it's not going to be easy. I tell you, Unorthodox is going to give this absolutely everything to make sure he sticks to the back of Little Leach and make sure that he will bring home that dub by the time we get to the end of lap 24. 3.5 laps left to go in this race, and Little Leach currently in the box seat, but he's still got that penalty which could come back to haunt him by the time we get to the end of this race. Victor Alvarez saying Little Leach needs that gap because that penalty will cost him. He really does. He needs that buffer, Victor. He needs to make sure he's got what's needed when it's needed, otherwise he will pay the price, figuratively. So half a second here separating these guys. Out of Druids Corner, underneath Warwick Bridge once again. These two have put on an absolute hell of a show. Unorthodox led the race since the first lap. Through no fault of his own, finds himself in second place. Little Leach's pit crew just getting the job done slightly quicker than Unorthodox's, and it's cost him the race lead, but he could still end up with the P1 because Little Leach, we know, has got a 2-second penalty which could very well come back to bite him at the end of this race. These guys have got 5 seconds back to Bod. Bod will just be sat there, I'm sure, praying, hoping and praying that these two come together at the front or have some kind of incident that will give him an opportunity in the last couple of laps. Emo Guy sat in 4th. Ian has driven a good race in the second part of this one, but the first part just did not really go to plan for him. He's got Amazing Pie Boy closing up onto the back of him now, but Amazing Pie Boy does have a penalty from the race director. Looks like Craig having a look to the inside of Fury coming up towards his stops. He's got the move done there on the brakes. Is he going to have it? I think he has indeed. He completes the move there. Craig up into 8th place. Good overtaking move there from Craig. Back to this battle between Little Leach and Unorthodox. Little Leach having to go defensive, coming up towards his stops. Unorthodox pulling out to the left hand side, having a little look to the inside. He can't quite get that one done at the moment. He has to tuck in behind Little Leach for the moment, clinging onto this race lead by the skin of his teeth, but Unorthodox really letting him know that he wants to get on with this one. He'll know that Little Leach has got the penalty, but he wants to get this one done on the track. He wants to prove that he is the man out there at the moment with the best chance of this GT5 Super Cup here at Motive. He will be wanting to stake his claim for a championship. Dan, obviously the winner of the LMP2 championship last season. Little Leach still yet to win a championship here at Motive. We are hearing reports from somebody that Little Leach has got a 12-second penalty. And also, reading between the lines, I'm guessing that possibly Virgin Media may have picked up the phone to the only G, as we see side by side here, coming down the pit straight. Unorthodox is going to have that move on, coming into Old Hall, surely on the brakes. He does indeed. Little Leach leaves the door open, and Unorthodox, regardless of the fact that Little Leach has got that penalty from the race director, has got the move done on the track, and he's up into the lead of the race, and I can't see him looking back from here. I think Unorthodox has got this race win, signed, sealed and posted. Little Leach obviously took the sprint race earlier on, but I don't think he's going to be able to follow that up with another win here in this feature race. Dan has driven an absolutely superb race, and I think Little Leach will probably lose out on Pete. Oh, as we see Dan going a little bit wide, coming through Shell Oil. Little Leach up the inside, still side by side though. Dan will have the inside for Britons. What's going to happen here? These guys still side by side. Great action between these guys, wheel to wheel, as Dan just pulls past in the mid part of the corner. Little Leach had to give him the space, and in the end relinquished that position for fear of running into that bollard. If those two had come together, that would have had devastating consequences, which would have brought Bod very much into the battle for the race win. And it's not worth Little Leach fighting for this one, because he knows that if he loses a bit more time, he will find himself behind Bod on the track. I think with a 12-second penalty, he will lose that P2 anyway. The last thing he wants is to find himself behind Emo Guy and lose a podium here in this race, especially with all that he's been through. Victor Alvarez, woo, side by side action, fantastic. Brilliant stuff all night from these guys on the Motive Racing channel. Victor, thoroughly enjoyed commentating on this race. It's not over yet, we've still got a lap to go. The only G said that Virgin Media have sorted out the internet problems. That old chestnut. As we're coming round to start lap 24 at Oulton Park. Into Old Hall for the final time. Still got a full lap ahead of us. James Brody saying, phew, that is hectic. It was, James, but brilliant action nonetheless. Oof, that was close. It was, G, it was. Heart was in my mouth there. I can't imagine what it was like for Dan and Little Leach, as we see Little Leach getting very wide there, coming out of Cascades all over the curb. But he's dropping back off of Unorthodox all the time. See Unorthodox into shallow hairpin. And he goes very wide there on the exit of the corner. I think he's going to get away with it though. He had quite a bit of a gap to Little Leach before that little mistake. Little Leach's going to pull alongside though, coming into Britons. We're side by side once again. Exact repeat pretty much coming into that corner from the previous lap, and exactly the same result. Little Leach has to back out of that one. Unorthodox on the inside, a track position, and ultimately at the racing line. There was no way around him. As we come into his stop chicane for the final time, and through into Nickelbrook now. Unorthodox, our LMP2 champion from last season. He had a fantastic battle all season in the LMP2s with Ben Parker. He ended up coming out on top. Also took second place in the Clio Cup Tier 2 last season. Missed out on the championship. Heartbreaking defeat in the final race at Monza Short due to no fault of his own. Got tipped onto his roof briefly in that race. He's going to have Little Leach trying to take this win on the track here. Little Leach going for a bit of pride here. Up the inside, coming into Lodge Corner. Little Leach has got that move done on the inside, up into the lead. But Unorthodox is going to take the checkered flag and is going to pick up the victory by virtue of Little Leach's penalty. It's Unorthodox who takes the victory in the feature race. Little Leach comes over in second place. Ryan Bod coming over to complete the podium. In fact, he picks up that P2, so Little Leach did pick up a 10-second penalty there from the race director, presumably for speeding in the pit lane. Ian's going to come around to take fourth place ahead of Amazing Playboy. Well held there from Emo Guy at the end. Our lead coordinator doing a solid job. Amazing Playboy flashed the lights from him, saying to Emo Guy, good race there. Pro Ballast is going to come around to take P6. Solid job there from Pro Ballast. Matahimovic just coming into Druids now for the final time. Our regular commentator in the Clios and the touring cars, Matthew Duffin. Great to have him out on the track. Shame he couldn't show his full potential in this feature race due to a just complete chaos at the start there. But nonetheless, great stuff there. Make sure you check out Simplay Motorsport as well, guys. That YouTube channel, facebook.com/Simplay Motorsport, as well as the YouTube channel Simplay Motorsport. Matthew, one of the admins over there and the owner of that league. want to say a huge congratulations to this man Unorthodox on taking the W here for this feature race. Our graphic designer Unorthodox puts some fantastic thumbnails out. All the thumbnails that you see for our YouTube, all the promotional banners are made by this man here. He also does our social media in the background as well. He puts out some fantastic stuff and really gets us on the map here at Motive Racing. A testament, a credit to the Motive Racing Leagues, and we're absolutely delighted for him to be able to take this feature race win tonight. Was racing earlier on in the F1 race, crashed out of that one. He's well and truly made amends here at Oulton Park. Bod and Little Leach completing that podium. Little Leach saying, pity about my 14-second penalty. He reckons he slowed down sufficiently for the pits, so maybe Project Cars 2 doing him dirty a little bit there. Victor Alvarez saying that was fantastic clean racing, Little Leach. Indeed it was, and a huge credit to Unorthodox and Little Leach for the battle that they put on there. Bod in the end picking up P2, slightly fortuitously there due to Little Leach's penalty. But guys, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who joined us live on the YouTube channel here at Motive Racing. I want to say thank you to everybody who's joined us and watched us over this past week. Here we've obviously kicked off the 2021 season really well. I'm absolutely delighted to see some fantastic racing throughout the week. Make sure you join us tomorrow for what is hopefully going to be 2 streams. Hopefully we can get some commentators sorted out for tomorrow for the GT3s. We've already got them for the GT3s, but Formula Renaults, if not, we may have to miss that one for a week. But make sure you subscribe to the Motive Racing channel, guys. If you do enjoy what you see, drop a like on this video and go to motiveracing.com if you want to get involved in the on-track action.